I made the grievous error of deciding to watch a Detroit Lions football game yesterday. I don't know what drove me to it. I think it was probably seeing that they were up 6-3 against the Cowboys. And I really, really hate the Cowboys. No matter how much my interest in American football fades away the longer I live in Europe, um, a few things will never change. I'll never stop hating the Cowboys. I'll never stop hating the New York Yankees. I will never, ever, 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 ever stop hating the Houston Astros. And the Detroit Lions will. Can't do that. And the Detroit Lions will always suck. I tune in at 6-3. Goff throws a pick, throws another pick. They fumble the ball at the goal line. And by the time it's all said and done, it's a blowout. And the term same old Lions pops into my head. I would hear people say same old Lions all the time listening to sports radio in Michigan. 97.1 The Ticket. People would call in and everyone would have their opinion and what needs to change and blah, 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 blah. What they don't realize while they're complaining and wasting their breath is that no change on the field is going to reverse the fortunes of the Detroit Lions. Let me just say this before I go further. I cannot believe a sports team can suck this badly for so long and still have fans in the stands. And if this team were in any other league but the NFL, which is multi-billion dollars, and everybody loves football in America, it's, my God, it's a juggernaut. If this team were in any other league, they'd have been sold. Or they would have watched attendance dip so badly that ownership would no longer find it viable to keep that team around. Maybe that's it. Maybe instead of calling into these radio shows and complaining, instead of sitting there on your Detroit Lions chair in your Detroit Lions house wearing your Detroit Lions snuggie and throwing shit all over the place and bemoaning how bad this team is despite yet another coaching change, because Dan Campbell's really going to turn things around by biting kneecaps, right? Maybe you could just not go to the goddamn games. It's just, hey. I don't know much, but I know that you don't buy tickets to watch games. Ownership starts losing money. They start losing interest in having the team. Unless, of course, the Fords are just a bunch of evil scumbags who just revel in all of the complaints. Do you want to know when the deal was approved for the Fords to take over? I think it was William Clay Ford Sr. to take over the Detroit Lions. You want to know when the deal was finalized? November 22nd, 1963. And isn't it just so fitting? The day, one of the most consequential days in the history of the United States of America, the team gets signed over to ownership that would eventually lead it straight into abject, protracted, embarrassing mediocrity for decades to come. No shit, go and look it up. November 22nd, 1963. It's almost like a bad omen. I'm not one of those people who believes in curses, the curse of the Bambino, the goat curse for the Chicago Cubs, whatever the hell it was. I don't think this team is cursed. I just think they have ownership that simply gives zero fucks about what's on the field because they know the stadium's going to be packed. It's pretty simple. You got a stadium with tens of thousands of seats. That's tens of thousands of tickets. They're only in town 8 times per year, I think, 8 or 9. It's a spectacle. It's an event. People are going to pay money no matter how much they suck. They'll go to the games just to get drunk and complain, you know? To all the people who complain, first of all, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and the losing doesn't bother you so much, you're just a fan of football, they happen to be the team in your home state, they're the closest team that you can go and actually see with your look balls, okay, I'm not talking to you because you'll just keep giving these people money no matter what and not care because it's like, football. But for the people who year in, year out, acknowledge how bad this team is, acknowledge that coaching changes haven't done shit, general manager changes haven't done shit, other front office changes haven't done shit, player acquisitions haven't done shit. You complain about all of these people, this revolving door of coaches and front office personnel, and yet ownership doesn't really ever... I hear people bitch about the ownership quite a bit, but they don't do anything about it. Do you think that you got Steve Mariucci or Marty Morningweg or Jim Schwartz or whatever Caldwell, I can't remember his first, Jim Caldwell, or any of these coaches, do you think it's because the Fords were listening to you fans? Do you think it's because the Fords were listening to the complaints from the fans who were paying their hard-earned money to see this team suck and fail and flail helplessly about week in, week out? No. Absolutely not. I would not be surprised if the Fords, if, for example, they were watching ESPN one day and they heard that some other team fired their head coach and they're like, why don't we try doing that? For no other reason than that. I mean, it sounds so goofy and ridiculous, but this is a goofy and ridiculous team. This is a goofy and ridiculous franchise. And a goofy and ridiculous fan base to keep complaining about these things, to want change, to want a winning team, and to not demand that the Fords fuck right off. Now, I know it's not as easy as changing head coaches and changing general managers. I know getting rid of ownership, if they really want to hold on to that team and it's still profitable, and they probably are, they'll hold on to the team. There ain't nothing anybody can do, unless, of course, I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas or anything, but I don't know. Some owners of some professional teams these days are getting ousted for their racist comments. So, I'm not saying there might be some audio somewhere out there of the Fords being racist. I wouldn't be surprised. Bunch of rich white people, racist. Oh my God. But it might be out there and it might be worth looking for because that seems to be the way to get rid of a toxic owner in this day and age. But I'm in no way encouraging you to go out there and look for it. No. Why go and look for it? It's just go look for it. Go look for it. See, no, like, for the sake of all the people who keep coming back and saying this team sucks and I want something to happen now. Why not? Go try to find it. I know it's very unlikely. But these are the things, as a Lions fan, that you are forced to think of when you just, and I guess I'm not really much of a fan anymore because I don't watch the games except for last night, which was the catalyst for this whole thing, because it's just one playoff win since 1950 friggin' 7. I think that was in 1992, and I think it was against the Cowboys. They won pretty decisively and then ended up getting the shit kicked out of them by Washington. Since then, it's just been a bunch of wild card squeakers. So even their playoff runs, even the years where they do make the playoffs, it's unimpressive. And that game I watched, I got to tell you, beyond the turnovers, those guys just did not look like they wanted to be there. The way they were playing, I mean, the offense had spark, and the defense just, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I was watching, but it didn't seem like I was watching a team of professionals, from the coaching staff all the way to the players on the field. You've tried doing your Millen man marches. You thought getting rid of Matt Millen would cure all that ailed you as a Lions fan, and it did jack shit. You thought getting rid of all these coaches and all the King's horses and all the King's men, and you still got the Fords. You still got Sheila Ford to deal with, or Sheila, whatever the fuck. Who cares? And before that, you had, like, did anybody really think that a woman pushing 90 would know how to run a professional football organization? Martha Ford being in charge for as long as she was in charge, like, that was just embarrassing. It was really embarrassing to see that happening, because you could just tell, listening to her talk, she didn't care about football. She didn't care about winning. But y'all still went to the football games, and you still threw your money at the Detroit Lions. And I am here to say, maybe, just maybe, ehkä in Finnish, you should stop and hope that if you stop long enough, if you don't go to the games, if you decide not to buy that 10th or 11th Lions jersey to just collect moths in your closet, if you abstain from putting more money in the coffers of this family via the Detroit Lions, it is absolutely possible that they'll either say, okay, this isn't financially viable for us, or okay, we hear the will of the people, we will graciously step down. Ha ha ha! That won't fucking happen. But a bunch of rich people losing money? Oh. Stop going to the games. Go to college games to fill the void. I know a lot of NFL fans don't like college football very much. I understand that. But go to Cleveland Browns games. Aren't they the closest? Are they the closest football team to Detroit? Yeah. Go watch the Browns. They've been making moves. And they've got company with Detroit. They're the only other team to lose 16 games. Or did they lose 17? Whatever. I forget when the season went to 17 games. But in any event, that's just, when all is said and done, if the Fords do pack their shit and leave, mercifully, this is what their legacy is going to be. All of them, from William to Martha to Sheila. This is what their legacy is going to be. Running off Barry Sanders in his prime, running off Calvin Johnson in his prime, going 0-16, the first team to lose every single game in a season in the 16-game era. Their legacy is going to be a revolving door of incompetent coaches, or coaches who just could not do shit with what they were given by ownership. I think some of those Detroit Lions squads in the 2000s, you could have had Tom Landry on the sidelines. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't have goddamn mattered. No, what matters at this point for all of the complainers and the people who are sick and tired and they don't want to take anymore, it is incumbent upon you, the fans, not the general manager, not the coach. The fans have to step up and speak with their wallets and their purses and say, go away, or something similar, probably with more profanity involved, but be gone, Fords. You are the one constant through all of the failure, through all of the pain, through all of the misery, the strife, the blown leads, all of it. The one constant has been the Ford family. They don't belong in the NFL. They do not belong, or they have no business owning a professional football team because they don't know how to do it. They don't care to learn how to do it. The team just falls to another Ford when one of them keels over or gets sick, just goes to another one, and it goes to another one. How has that been allowed to keep happening for so many decades? We're not just talking about, a little slump or, a 20-year dry spell. 1957. 1957. How? It's mind-blowing. And the only thing I can think of is football, whether your team sucks or doesn't suck, you're going to go to the game because it's football and it's the atmosphere and woohoo. But I'm telling you, if you are sick to death of this team sucking shit through 15 bricks and a thick steel wall every single year, then you need to take matters into your own hands and you need to stay the fuck home and stop giving them your money. It is long past time. You thought things were going to change by getting Matt Millen out of there. He was your boogeyman. It's just been one boogeyman right after another for decades. Take your pick. Why does the team suck this year? Is it Matt Millen? Is it the coach? Is it our secondary? Aim a little bit higher. Aim your sights a little bit higher. And you'll find the real culprit for why your beloved team that you've spent so much time and money supporting continually sucks ass. You can do it. I believe in you. It might suck not going to the football games. I'm sure your wallet will thank you not paying $80 for parking and $17 for a beer and nachos or whatever it is. Your wallet will thank you. Your sanity will thank you. You stand to benefit in so many ways by avoiding this team. Trust me. Trust me. You could do a lot better. But it's going to take some time, and it's going to take a concerted effort from all of the fans who really want to see this team succeed, who are dying to see this team succeed, but know it's not going to because the owners don't give a fuck. And they are not going to give any of the coaching staff the ingredients for the recipe to a Super Bowl, or at least a deeper playoff run. It's just not happening. Find me one piece of evidence that the Fords actually give a shit about the Detroit Lions. I'll eat this hat on camera. I will. But it's got to be irrefutable. It can't just be some cooked up bullshit. You got to find me one piece of evidence that shows that the Fords actually care or actually want to cultivate something worth watching or some kind of hope. Because it's always the same old Lions I hear from people. It's the same old Lions, the same old Lions. Well, yeah, and here you are, again, watching the same old Lions, paying to go and see the same old Lions. Ay. It's not simple, but it kind of is. And who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and Sheila Ford will be caught saying something horribly, horribly racist or anti Semitic, and we can finally get rid of them the quick way. But if it hasn't happened since 57 or 1963, 1964, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. So you're going to have to bite the bullet. You're going to have to not go to that Ford field. You're going to have to find some way to make do. Find a way to make do. I know you can do it. I believe in you. Have a good day, folks.